long-term decisions. And then, oh yeah, okay, thanks. Yeah, and then second one is also making sure that LC know how to plan and execute their project and know the status of it based on the finance status, youth experience, the PD side and PM checklist, and also empower members to taking care of the quality of the project also, like as I mentioned as well. Okay, so we have opening, preparation, closing, and for closing, to review and evaluate the implementation of a project in terms of the operation, people, and finance together, so that we can guide the sustainability of the project as well, so that we can also know, how was your project basically during the RE, and what are the things that you guys should take note also, and the impact report, all those things that we cover under this closing. And then yes, I think yeah, I think EJ can help me to send to the chat. So for this one, because we will go function per function, right? As I mentioned during the agenda. So in case you suddenly have any questions, have any concern, any doubts, right? Directly put down your questions under this spreadsheet. We have created one tab under this spreadsheet. So just put down your, your LC, and then also what is the question, and then to which function also. Okay, to fasten out the process a bit. Cool. Yes, so I think we can also, we can directly go to the next topic already, which is the functional criteria. And firstly, we have IGV, incoming global volunteers, and I will pass it to Yijie. Yeah, I will mute myself.
Okay, thanks, Galik, for that. Okay, so yeah, so basically for IGV, right? So basically we'll look into the project quality itself, especially in terms of the execution in realization. So yeah, I can go to the next. All right, so basically why are we having closing audit for IGV part? Basically is to ensure the project implementation and also the SDG alignment in delivering quality experience for our volunteers and also the impact for our beneficiary, whoever engaged in our projects. Okay, yep, go to the next. All right, so here are the functional criteria. Just to take note, we have more latest and recent criteria compared to last time closing audit. So basically, as usual, you have to update fully your DMF as well. And the second part is actually we will have a new project review feature, which means this new feature, right, will be added in the DMF template, which LC will later on, you will need to duplicate into your current DMF and current existing DMF. And yeah, good news to everyone, we no longer have project report already, because I think project report itself, we have added the feature from project report into a DMF, so that it's also to reduce the part that you guys need to generate report at the same time you can utilize a DMF to document it properly lah. And then so kindly ensure that the new feature is being added into DMF. Okay, so this is the new criteria. So take note, everyone. Okay, we no longer have project report anymore. Okay, you can celebrate yourself. And then also, as usual, LVV status, all these things have to update. LVV status here means that realization to complete, all these things you need to update. And then LVV standards and proof is fulfilled and completely updated. So we have the latest proof collection SOP as well. So make sure that you go through the previous L&D regarding proof collection, okay? Because we also change the way that how we collect the proof, make it more simple and systematic as well. Okay, can go to the next. So the fifth criteria will be IYE planning. So definitely in all of your projects, you must have IYE, right? So actually from 1.0 and 2.0 already completed. Let's say if you already passed preparation and also opening audit. So 3.0 is the part that where you will do debriefing, review your IYE. So make sure that you complete it and then completed your IYE report as well, which I will brief you later on in our consultancy space. And then also we will have a realization to complete conversion rate have to hit more than 85%, because this is the benchmark for ISA in Malaysia as well. And then the next criteria will be complete implementation plan with actual tracking and implementation until post experience. And then beneficiaries GVA, you have to hit more than 70% GVA as well. Okay, can go to the next. And project MOI plan versus actual fulfillment, more than 70%. And then LVV JD and KPI plan versus actual fulfillment, every of the LVV JD need to be fulfilled. And then winter marketing plan execution, more than 70% of your plan marketing content calendar must be executed. Okay, so with that, yeah, I think that's the, can go to the next. Here are the summaries of the entire project opening or project closing audit criteria. So we do have one criteria only for P-Box, but other than that, every is applicable for P-Box and NCR. Okay, so P-Box is only have a beneficiary GVA. Okay, so I think that's it for IGV part. So we will pass to BD side lah.
Hi. Hello, everybody. So it's BD side. Yeah, so definitely getting value aligned partnerships for our project sustainability lah. Yeah, so let's go straight into it. Next one. Yeah, so again, the why part, I think specifically for this closing audit is to ensure our project sustainability and development through our quality partnership experience delivered and also the impact documentation lah. So next. So if you sort of pay attention or remember towards the last time audit, actually this time is kind of similar also. Yeah, so modify a few things, but overall it's similar. So we will have partner standards, and again, for PBox is all the standards. Okay? NCR is all the standards, and then PBox is 1, 5, 7, and 8. And then this time to make things clearer would be all your partners need to document. Yeah, as long as partner, no matter LP, SP, OP, FP, all need to document and would be audit through. And I think the details I'll brief you guys later. Yeah, and then also HubSpot implementation as usual. I think this one I wouldn't need to explain much. Partnership NPS need to be higher than 8, which is the promoter score, 9 and 10. And then our sales performance, so for PBox only, so NCR wouldn't be covered on this part. Yeah, so need to achieve at least 30% GVA for FP plus sponsorship. Yeah, next one. Yeah, and then we have our external impact report. You need to complete the new template. So like EJ mentioned, don't have project report anymore, right? And then our impact report also a revamp to be simplified and more straightforward also. And then also the partnership deliverable for fulfillment. So what you sign in the MOA definitely need to deliver. So next slide. Yeah, so here is all the whole overview in terms of like the 6 criteria here that you can see in one slide very clearly. Yeah? And it's also being embedded into the audit tracker itself also, just that the sales performance is PBox only. Yeah, that's all from my side. I'll pass it to Sabine next.
Right, thanks, Eugene. So I think for FL side, very fast, it's just basically we always talk about sustainability, right? So I think over here definitely on why FL is also part of the IGV project audit as well is because next slide. Yeah, it is to prioritize project sustainability in FL, and then especially as part of the key person to also synergize with IGV and PDIGV to actually achieve long-term sustainability of the product, which is LVV itself. Yeah, so I think basically on the how we have actually 5 criteria for FL for this time. And then as usual, the first one is just 100% alignment on the monthly budget versus actual with PTIGV as well as IGV. So I think it's also more on accounts closings by then because this is closing audit, right? And then the next one is actually on project profitability. I think over here is just to take note that for closing, we actually lower down the profitability benchmark from 30% to 10%. So I think over here is just after our calculation and all to treat it as like a retained revenue for upcoming project investment as well. So I wish that everyone can still achieve this benchmark so that we know that we actually have certain funds to actually brought forward for the upcoming projects in summer. Yeah, so I think for project profit strategies wise is as usual, is just make sure to update everything, especially on the actual financial terms and then the progress also. Yeah, so I think over here the requirement is that it will be more than 70% implementation and also more than 50% of GVA on the financial terms itself. Yeah, so for the fourth one is actually on project cash flow, which is to just update all the cash inflow and outflow throughout the project and then ensure that it is 100% aligned with the monthly budget as well. So last one is just is a new thing. So I think previously, if you guys know that we actually have a separate report like what mentioned by EJ earlier on, right? So I think over here is just to update again, that will be a new format on project financial report itself, which will be embedded in your DMF. And it's kind of like the latest format that I will also touch on more later on about how do we actually complete the new FL report. So I think the next slide is just an overview for the 5 criteria itself. So just to recap a bit, that the first one is definitely on the budget BVA. Second one is just after you have the BVA, you will definitely get the project profitability at last. And then the third thing is just on your profit strategy progress, and then your cash flow tracker, and then also finally documentation as well as for future reference purposes, it will be to complete the FL report after having all the data. Yeah, so I think that's all for FL, and now I'll pass it to PM.
Okay, it's my turn for people management. Yeah, so for people management, okay, we wait for one. Yeah, so it's actually the questions that the burning question that I want you all to think as well is how to ensure the effective manpower and fruitful membership experience in the project. And hence we have this people management scope under the audit tracker as well, right? To ensure experience of IGV membership is being taken care of throughout the entire project period through designing or even managing and carrying out proper JD. So here are the 4 things that we will look into under this audit for PM scope. First thing is about the pre and during for pre and during team standard effectiveness, PA score, and retention rates. So the first one, pre and during team standards, right? The reason why we want to measure that is also to ensure our team members are receiving support and standards facilitated and provided by our team leader, so that their experience is actually being guarded. So it's the same as well for the current memberships. We also, as a team leaders, I think all of you are here team leaders, right? To actually giving or even facilitating all the team standards down to your team members, so that they are actually got the support from you to run the things that they are doing. So for we have team standard, right? That is why we want to evaluate it, we want to measure it. And that is the reason we want to have the team standard effectiveness. And that's come to the second point, to measure team member satisfaction towards the environment that they are in and the job support coming from the team leaders. So for this one, is actually the monthly engagement survey that you fill up, and it will auto-generate the team standard effectiveness score. And this will be the score to justify whether your members are satisfied with their experience or not. And with the experience, with that, we also have the PA scores, right, to measure the performance from your OCV or even for your members. How is their development is being developed so far throughout the entire project also. And lastly, is the retention rate, is to actually see the entire capacity during RE, meaning that before the RE or even after the RE, what are the things that actually, is there any HR movement coming in or even going out from the project itself? And also for me, or even for us, for the national side, we hope to see the entire capacity is also is managed well by the team leader during the project execution. And yeah, so here are the general summarize of the things. So for team standard implementation, as you can see, the benchmark is 80% above for the implementation. Team standard effectiveness is above 8 as well, TSE, and PA score is above 60%. Retention rate is above 70%. Yeah, so this is, I think that's all for PM. Okay, and so I think I can pass it to Yijie for the key changes that we have for this project closing. I pass it to Yijie.
Okay, thanks, Garlic. So so basically the key changes right now, I think I have mentioned clearly as well that we will no longer have internal project report, but do not misunderstood that PD, you will still have external impact report. Okay, the impact report is different. So later on PD side, when you go into consultancy space, Eugene will also brief you guys regarding the external impact report template. But previously, when we used to have audit project report, right? When, if you still remember, in past summer, you have closing audit and then you have a project audit report. So right now, we no longer have all these internal project report already lah. And then also we have new feature added in DMF template. I think later on we will go into consultancy space, and then we will let you guys to view on the project review report as well in the DMF. So the part that every one of you need to take note is to add all these new feature into your current existing DMF. Okay, can go to the next. Okay, so I think we will go into submission details first before we go into the consultancy space, so that you can also ask questions as well regarding submission details. Okay, so this is the submission timeline. All right. Okay, so here are the submission timelines. So we have 4 batches right now. So it will based on the realization timeline that you have, and then from national side, we allow at least around 1 month for you to prepare everything regarding posting audit, to debrief your OC experience, your LVV experience, partner experience, and to prepare all of the important reports and documentation into the DMF or even in your impact report as well. So yeah, we have batch 1 is I think is next month, and then batch 2 is also end of the February, and then batch 3 will be end of the March, and then batch 4 will be end of the April following your realization timeline. So I believe with at least 1 month, right, you have enough time to actually do closing audit as well lah. Okay, so I think that's the timeline. So the submission process itself is super simple. If you still remember, the attached DMF link, you can just attach in your audit master sheet, and then you ensure that DMF is also in the national DMF folder, and then you select the batch of submission, and then you tick for submission. Okay, so it is very simple lah. You don't need to send email to us anymore. Okay, yeah. So passing criteria very simple. We will only count the project is passed when all of the criteria is 100% fulfilled. Okay, so yeah, I think just that's it for the passing criteria. So I think we will directly move into the functional consultancy lah. Gali, you can take back.
Okay, thanks, EJ. Yeah, so now we have very quick functional consultancy. And yes, I think you all you all know which department you are from, right? Okay, so I think Celine, you can help me to allocate the breakout room. I think you all need to choose your own function to